How's it going, everybody? Appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. This is part 2 in the video series that I'm doing right now, which is on the Construction Inspector Apprenticeship Program. If you watched the first video, I basically just talked about a little bit about the apprenticeship program, but I mainly talked about the reasons why I felt like it was a good program for anybody coming home from prison to get into. In this video right here, I'm going to talk about the steps I took to get into the apprenticeship program and some of the things that I did to help myself get into the program. So like I mentioned in the first video, first thing you're going to want to do is just basically, do a little Google search, find out what construction inspectors are. We're also called special inspectors. Just do a little bit of research, find out what it is that we do. After that, basically go ahead and look for an apprenticeship program in your area. And you could do this in a few ways. You could just do a Google search online, search special inspector apprenticeship programs, or you could even search operating engineers apprenticeship programs for your specific area. If you can't find anything online, which might be the case because when I looked online, I just noticed that there wasn't a lot of information out there for these programs. But if that's the case, go ahead and find one of the local labor unions in your area or construction unions in your area. So look up first look up the operating engineers union for your area. See if you could get any information for that union, and go ahead and give them a call. See if they're affiliated with any construction inspector apprenticeship programs. If you can't find the operating engineers union, call up any union in your area that deals with trade type workers. So you can call the electricians union, the plumbers union, and ask them if they know of any unions for operating engineers, construction inspectors, special inspectors, and they should be able to point you in the right direction. And then once you do find the name of the union, go ahead, call them, find out what apprenticeship programs they're affiliated with. Now, if you don't have any luck, looking for the unions, basically just pull up to a construction site and go talk to somebody. But I'm pretty sure one of the unions will be able to point you in the right direction. But if they can't, just go to the next step, do the next thing. Basically, utilize all your resources when you're seeking out this type of information. When you're looking for a program, go the extra step. So you might not be able to do everything from your computer. You might have to make some phone calls. You might have to go out and visit a couple places. Just be prepared to do that, basically, is the point that I'm making. Once you do find an apprenticeship program, go ahead and see what the requirements are. In my case, there wasn't a lot of requirements. I think the only thing you really needed to do was have a valid driver's license, a clean driving record, and also have a high school diploma or GED. But outside of that, it really wasn't a lot of requirements. So once you look at the requirements, go ahead and grab yourself an application. But you're not going to fill out the application or submit it just yet. So just sit the application down to the side, because the next thing that you're going to want to do is go out and actually get a certification in this field before you even submit an application for the apprenticeship. And there's a couple reasons why you're going to want to do that. For one, is because nobody else is going to do that. When I went through the program, I think I was accepted in with maybe like 25 other guys, and I was the only one to go out and get a certification before I actually got accepted into the program. And I feel like that's the reason why I got in. They really, really, really liked the fact that I went out and did that. It just showed them that I was committed. And the second reason you're going to want to do that is because you want to take some attention away from the fact that you have a felony. So this is a great way to take attention away from the fact that you do have a felony conviction on your record. And you could counteract that and basically put that attention on in somewhere positive. So now they can focus on the fact that you actually went over and beyond to actually get in this program. So that's the reason why you're going to want to do that. But next, I'm just going to talk about where to go look for this certification and what the certification is. So as a construction inspector / special inspector, we're going to have to accumulate certifications, and these certifications are associated with various phases of the construction process, as well as various materials. So for example, if you're doing soil work, there's going to be a certification attached to soils. If you're doing concrete inspections, there's going to be a a certification attached to concrete or associated with concrete. Same thing with rebar, fireproofing, and other materials. So that's kind of how we increase our value as a special inspector, is acquiring these certifications. And all this will be done during the apprenticeship program. And actually, in the very beginning of the apprenticeship program, if you were to get accepted in the very beginning, they're going to take about a month and just train you on these different inspections. So they're going to take a month. They're going to send you to a training. They're going to have you basically get some of these entry-level certifications. And as you make your way through the program, you're going to go ahead and accumulate more and more certifications so that you could inspect more and more materials. But the very first certification that they'll have you get, at least the most important certification that they'll have you get in the beginning, is this one right here. It's called the Concrete Field Testing Technician Grade 1 certification, and it's offered by ACI, which is the American Concrete Institute. Now, although they're going to have you get this certification once you get accepted into the program, like I mentioned before, we're going to actually go out and get this certification on our own before we even get into the program. And I mentioned the reason why, but it's just going to make you that much more attractive. It's going to make your application that much more attractive. So we're going to go ahead and do it. It is an expensive certification. It's about $575, but it's well worth it if you ask me. Once you're able to get into this program, it's basically going to take you out that unskilled worker minimum wage category, and you will now have a skill in your pocket, and you'll be more of a valued worker or employee. So and you'll make a lot more money. So definitely want to do it. And as we're watching, or as you're watching this video, I'm probably going to have an image on the screen of me navigating the American Concrete Institute's website just to show you where to find the certification and how to purchase it. But yeah, so it's the American Concrete Institute. The way they schedule you for the test, once you pay for it, like I said, it's $575. Once you pay for it, you'll choose a test date that's probably like a month or two out. And the way it's set up is it's on 2 weekends. So they'll bring you in on the first weekend. Usually it's a Saturday or a Sunday, and they'll actually give you this book. So they'll give you this book, and they'll go over the book with you and talk about everything that will be on the test. They'll also take you outside and teach you how to perform each one of the concrete inspections, because there's about 6 inspections in this book that you're going to have to learn, concrete inspections. So they'll teach you how to perform each inspection. The following weekend, which will be the next Saturday or Sunday, they'll bring you back and they'll test you on the information in the book, and they'll also do a performance test too to see that you could actually successfully complete each one of the concrete certifications. Now, what I did, I basically, this is maybe about a month ahead of time, a month before the class, I went and ordered this book myself online. Even though they were going to give me one for free that first weekend of the class, I ordered it myself just because I wanted to have as much time with this book as possible, because like I said, I had no experience. I've never been in this field, didn't know anything about inspections, let alone construction. So I wanted to have the book as early as possible just to give myself somewhat of an advantage going into the test. And I found it, I think, on Amazon for maybe like $80 or $90. If you can't find it on Amazon, you can actually go to the American Concrete Institute, go to their website. Those have it, I think, available for about $170 for non-members. But if you become a member, you can get it for about $100, I believe. So go ahead and get this book early. I actually feel like the only reason I passed the test is because I went out and got the book early. Because otherwise, if I would have followed their program, I would have only had the book the weekend before. I would have got the first Saturday, and I would only be able to read through the book for a week before I was tested. So just knowing the way I am, I need to have more time to study than that. And as you can see, it's not a small book. It's not the thickest book in the world either, but there's enough information in here that you might want to, do some early preparation. And the way the book is set up, I'll show you guys something. So if you look at the chapters, each chapter is talking about a specific concrete inspection. So for example, this is the ASTM C1064. That's the name of the inspection. You could actually go online or go to YouTube, and there's a YouTube channel. I believe the channel is called James Lee, and in that channel they actually perform each one of these concrete inspections. So you can actually watch someone actually go out and do the inspection, and there's going to be a lot of information in the videos too, and all the information is on point. Everything is accurate. So that'll be a good way to kind of make sense of what you're reading in the book. And also, when you're going through the book, there's going to be study questions in the back of every section. And these study questions are basically associated with that particular inspection. Go ahead and make sure you know the answers to all the study questions by heart, because this is the same stuff that's going to be on the test. So like I said, in the back of each section, you're going to have some study questions. Know these by heart, because that's basically what the test will be on. So once you get the book, just spend some time going through it. Give yourself enough time. If you know you need 2 months, order it 2 months ahead of time. And like I said, it's kind of expensive. You're going to pay $575 for the class, possibly $100 for the book. That's $675 you're going to spend. So take it serious. Don't just don't BS. You know, you're spending a lot of money, but like I said, it's well worth it. But you just want to prepare yourself as best as you can. But let me go back to the class. So first after class, they're going to go over the book. Second half, they're actually going to take you outside and teach you how to perform each inspection. Now, that was only about a 4-hour day. I didn't feel comfortable after a 4-hour day. I didn't feel comfortable that I could come back the next week and actually perform these different inspections and pass. Like I said, I wasn't working in the field. I don't know anything about this, so I just didn't feel comfortable. So I actually talked to the instructor of the class, and I asked if there's any way I could get some extra practice in during the week. And he actually invited me to his testing facility, or to his lab, and he let me work for a full day, just getting more reps in, practicing these different inspections. And after working in his lab for a full day, I then felt confident in my ability to go, show up the next weekend, the next Saturday or Sunday, and pass the test, which I did. So the point that I'm getting at is you're going to have to go over and beyond just to do some of these things, and that's just part of the life of being a convicted felon. We're going to have to go over and beyond. We're going to have to work harder than the next man, and we're just going to have the attitude that we want to win regardless of what obstacles are on our way. So it's just the win mentality, refusing to lose. Do whatever it is that you need to do to put yourself in a position to succeed, and that's just the type of mentality we're going to have. So even when it comes to this getting the certification, I had to do extra things just to get it, but it put me in a great position going forward. So that's what I want to talk about next. So after you get the certification, after you pass the test, you're going to get the certification, and then you're going to go ahead, fill out the application. Make sure you put the certification, you submit it with the application. They're actually going to ask you in the application if you have any certifications in the field. You're going to say yes. You're going to include the certification in your application and send it in. And next, they're actually going to, next thing that's going to happen is they're going to review your application, and they're going to bring you in for like an entry level, some type of entry level test, kind of like the Aptitude or ASVAB test. They're going to bring you in for that, and I'm going to talk about how to prepare for that next. So after you get your certification, submit your application, the next thing that's going to happen is the apprenticeship program. If the apprenticeship program that you're applying to is structured anything like mine, they're going to bring you in for like an entry level exam, and it's just testing you on quick math, a little bit of vocabulary, maybe a little bit of reading comprehension, and there's also going to be something on there called spatial reasoning. And the way I found this information out is because when the apprenticeship program told me that I have to take like an entry level exam, I actually called them just to find out what would be on the exam so that I could prep myself. So make sure you do the same thing if you need to. If you know you're not the sharpest, in your math right now or anything like that, go ahead and get ready to prepare yourself for that. So, and that's what I did. So once I found out what was on the exam, on the entry level exam, I went ahead, I Googled spatial reasoning because, like I said, I had never heard of it before. And I'm not even going to try to explain it. I'm just going to put an image up on the screen just so you can kind of get an idea of what spatial reasoning is, kind of looking at shapes and things of that nature. But in order to help me, pass a exam or entry level exam dealing with spatial reasoning, I went ahead and found Barron's Aptitude test book on Amazon. And in this test book, it gave a bunch of little examples of what spatial reasoning was, and it basically gave you a lot of practice problems to work your way through so that you could pass the aptitude test dealing with spatial reasoning. So I ordered this book, worked through this book a little bit just to get me more up to date with spatial reasoning. And as far as the mathematics and vocabulary was concerned, I found a couple of applications on my phone that were like military aptitude, ASVAB test type applications. Just prepped you for one of those type of tests, and found a couple of applications that had a lot of quick math problems, a little bit of vocabulary, and I just worked those apps. So, I got on my phone, played around with the apps as much as I could, and it did sharpen me up a lot. So the quick math, the vocabulary, I got better, and it kind of keeps pace on the app. It'll time you so you can see how well you're doing. So I worked with that a little bit. By the time I had to take the entry-level exam for the apprenticeship program, felt real good about my skills because I had been looking at the Barron's Aptitude test book, been playing around with these apps, and I passed. So again, go over and beyond and prepare yourself. None of this stuff is hard, really. Like, I don't want anybody to think that anything I did was hard. It was really just me prepping myself for whatever step that came next. And I don't want to make light of that because that's what you're going to have to do if you want to pass. It's not hard. It's just preparation. Really, that's all it is. So I passed was able to pass the aptitude test. After you do that, they're going to bring you in for an interview, and you're pretty much golden at this point. You already got the certification. So when you show up to your interview, they're going to really, really be happy with the fact that you actually went out there on your own with no experience and got the certification. And like I mentioned before, it's not a hard certification, but for a guy with absolutely no experience in the field to go out and retain this information and get it, they're going to be pleased because, for one, not a lot of guys are going to even try to do it. But and for two, it shows them that you're dedicated. You really want to get into the program. It shows them that you're willing to go over and beyond, and that's exactly what we want them to know. So that's pretty much it, man. Just follow these steps, and once you get to that interview process, once you get to the interview, you're gonna get in. As long as you don't bomb the interview, you're gonna be in such a great position, and I can't imagine you not getting in. If you actually follow these steps and do everything that I'm saying. Because not only did I get in, but I was the only guy that they were able to pull out of the apprenticeship, out of the accepting class, which was me and 25 other guys. I was the only guy that they were able to pull out and begin work. And the reason they were able to do that is because I actually went out and had a certification on my own. So even during COVID, I was able to get into this apprenticeship program, while all these other guys who got in, they just weren't able to start work. So I was able to get in and actually begin work during the COVID crisis when everybody was losing their job. So go out and do this, you guys. Like, man, I'm not just talking about it because, I think it's something cool to do. Like, it's actually could help you out big time. It's helping me out big time. So I'm just trying to encourage you guys to go out and do it. And it's not hard. I'm gonna keep saying that it's not hard. It's just about preparation and having a little bit of guidance too. And I had some guidance going through it. I had somebody I could talk to who told me what to do, what I could do to help myself. So I'm just trying to share that same information with you guys. But like always, I hope you guys are enjoying it and you can make use of it. So stay up and stay positive. Peace out.